friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is adontaem. I'm 24 years old. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm so excited. Today is the second episode of Freedom Fridays. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about assets versus liabilities, just where you should be investing your money or what assets you should be investing into and what liabilities you should, either get rid of, try to manage a little better, or, just should rethink if you should get it. And, so we're going to go ahead and get started. To me, an asset is a form of an investment where you go ahead and you're going to get some passive income in return. So we're going to be talking about 3 different types of assets. The first asset is yourself. So there's no limit to how much you can give yourself. There's no limit to how much knowledge you can learn. You just have to be dedicated and you have to be consistent if you want to treat yourself as an asset, as some type of investment. I recommend one, just finding out what you're interested in, what makes you happy, what gets you going, what is something that you can spend your time doing where you don't even feel like, you spent so much time on it, but time is flowing. It feels like 10 minutes, but it's been 2 hours because, you're just enjoying it. So that's the first thing I recommend. Second, after you find what that thing is that you love, do it every day. Grow that skill, get better at it, because the more consistent, the more dedicated you are, you can only grow. You can only start here. You can only start here and go up, So find out what it is, scale it, grow it, learn that skill, hone in on it. After you're able to grow your skill, the third thing I recommend, taking steps, taking that action, put it to use. Even in that time where you're learning that skill or you're growing that skill, you can be a step ahead. Find out, how do I get this to the masses? How do I get this out there? How do I bring people to me? Because you can grow a skill, you can learn a skill, but it'll grow you, but it'll only grow you in certain areas. So say your goal is, to make money from a specific skill. You then have to put yourself out there with this skill so that people can know about it, or, if your goal is to just grow a skill just simply for yourself, just for, personal gain, personal benefit, or personal growth, there's nothing wrong with that. You take advantage of that and you do that. Either way, you're still an asset. You're still investing in yourself and you're going to get some type of return out of it. When you start investing in yourself or when looking at yourself as an asset, you may not know where to start. You may, might not have any clear direction or anything. And, that's okay. You might feel, as you're going, oh, this isn't for me, or, why am I doing this? That's self-doubt, that's negativity. Go ahead and kick that out and you keep going. You never know what potential that lies inside of you and that you're going to unlock. You just have to keep striving for greatness. You just have to keep going and most definitely keep believing in yourself. No one is going to believe in you like you believe in yourself. So as long as you believe that, you go ahead and you simmer in it, you can let that radiate out. And once you have that confidence, whatever you pour out will start to come back in. So definitely just go ahead and treat yourself good, give yourself a good mindset, and keep going. Do not let up on that gas pedal. You will reap the benefits of whatever it is that you're sowing or whatever it is that you're looking for. Keep going. Another asset that I recommend investing in is real estate or Airbnbs. When you think about it, either everyone needs somewhere to live or people like to travel. Everyone needs somewhere to stay, and it's a great form of passive income. You don't have to do too much after you get your house set up and, you're able to do all that. In the back end, it's just really just maintenance at that point. But, in the front end, it is going to be a lot of work, but that's the investment part. That's what makes it an asset. You invest either time or money or both up front, but you're going to see that return. It might take a little longer than you want, but hey, it's a process. Things don't just grow. Things don't just happen overnight. You want something to be sustainable. You want it to be valuable. You want to grow it organically. You don't want to just, try to run in there and get something going, get a whole bunch of money, and then bam, it falls. And now that money that you made is now going into making it or fixing it when you could have just started, with a good base and then just scaled it and grew it organically the right way. With owning Airbnbs or an Airbnb, it can start as 1 and it can grow to as many as 30. You just never know where it's going to lead. You just know that you have to get started if that's a route that you're interested in taking. If, passive income is something that you're interested in doing or making, or, if Airbnb or real estate is an interest of yours, definitely just go ahead and get started. Real estate in itself is also an asset just simply because you can buy, a trash house for 150, 200K. You go ahead and, you fix the bathroom, you fix some lighting, you fix the kitchen, fix those 2 areas, bam, you just grown the value of that home, maybe a couple tens of thousands or a couple 100,000, you just never know, maybe 50,000, real estate is definitely a huge investment. You just have to look at it, or a huge asset. You just have to look at it as such. You always have to find the opportunity in any situation. It can be the biggest dump in the world, but what's the location like? What's the potential like? What vision do you have for this property? So definitely look into real estate. Definitely give it a chance. No, you don't have to be a real estate agent. Obviously you just have to be able to acquire the property. So there are different ways that you can do that. They have FHA loans that will help you do that, where you don't have to put too much money down up front. I'm not really too sure what the qualifications are. That is something that if you are interested in, I highly recommend doing that research yourself. Otherwise, if once I begin this process, I will have another video on that process and how everything goes. But definitely take advantage of that. Make your passive income and do your thing while also investing, or looking at Airbnbs or real estate as an asset. Also do this if this is something that you're interested in. If you love homes, if you love looking at homes, or even if you just love, making money, this is something that's great for you. Another asset that I definitely recommend, I will talk about this one a lot more once I actually start my own process, but I didn't want to talk about it in this video, but it's kind of like the best I know some information about it. So it's in looking at mutual funds as an asset and investing in them. So a mutual fund is basically like a large pool of investors where, you all invest your money into a bunch of different companies, and your portfolio is diversified at that point, and it's managed by a portfolio manager, and there's less risk. There's a bunch of brokerages that you can go to. There's Fidelity, there's Charles Schwab, E-Trade, and Vanguard, not as if those are the only like 4 or 5, but like there's a few more that you can look into. Those are just the 4 that I personally have looked into and have just did some digging around. But no, definitely look into a mutual fund. One of the best things that you can go ahead and invest in, simply because there's a bunch of other investors. You can invest as much money as you want. For the most part, for some of them, there aren't any minimums, but do your own research, because some does require a minimum to start investing. But you're able to assume less risk with high reward, if it's managed correctly, and if your investments or like your return on the interest allows that. It is something that I want to get into. It is something that I'm looking to get into. I already know where I'm looking to start, but what brokerage I'm looking to start with, but I don't want to like go ahead and put that out just yet, just because there is some more research that I still have to do between the few. I have like some really technical questions. I just feel like this is a really big decision, so I need to know everything. But once I go ahead and pick a brokerage and I open my account, I will let you guys know which one I choose. Next, we're going to talk about liabilities. Liabilities are anything that essentially just takes money away from you. These 3 liabilities that I'm going to talk about, I give them such a just because they help us, so they can be looked at as assets, but they have to be used correctly or managed correctly, so that way they're not a liability or too much of a liability. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is a credit card. So I give this just simply because it can be used either way, in my opinion. A credit card can be used to build your credit, but are you managing it correctly? What's your APR? Are you paying off your balance in time? Are you carrying a balance every month? Are you carrying a balance every other month? Like, what's your credit card usage like? Are you staying below 30%, for each credit card usage, or for your total credit line? So if you aren't doing, specific or positive things with your credit card, I look at it as a liability. But however, if you are, managing it correctly, if you are using less than 30%, if you aren't carrying a balance, if you're paying your balance off, before your due date, I look at it as an asset, and it's a good thing. It's going to build your credit. You're going to be able to get whatever it is that you want, at a lower cost. The next thing that I look at as a liability is a car, just simply because as soon as you drive off the lot, it depreciates. So I don't really understand, now that I'm in this mindset that I'm in now. I just really don't understand buying brand new cars unless you have the passive income, or unless you have the income to actually just buy it straight out. I heard from some people, well, let me not just say some people, some very some very rich and successful people that, like, if you can't buy it twice, then you shouldn't buy it, you know? So your car, it can be a liability, it can be an asset, just simply because a liability, what are your car payments like? You know, what's that car insurance like? But it can be an asset because it gets you to point A and B. It gets you to be able to make your money. It gets you to and from work. If there's an emergency, it gets you to and from, you know? So it can be looked at, you know, either way. I mean, as an asset or a liability, but again, how's it being managed? And lastly, I'm gonna go over a mortgage. So I look at this as both an asset or a liability, just simply because, as I mentioned in the asset portion, everyone needs somewhere to live, you know? And at least if you're paying, the way I look at it, at least if you're paying a mortgage, it's a type of investment, because if eventually or essentially you can sell this property when and if you're ready to. You know, you can go ahead and put some investments into it. You can upgrade the kitchen, you can upgrade a bedroom, you can, you know, you can add on a den, or you can add in a pool. This will automatically, these are automatic investments, and this will raise the value of your home whenever you do decide to go and sell. You know, this will ultimately help. But if you're, you know, living in your home for, you know, 10, 15 years, you decide to go and sell, and you haven't, you know, updated your air ducts, if you haven't even given, you still have pink tiles and, you know, carpet in your pink tile walls and carpet on the floor in your bathroom, you know, that's pretty outdated, and you should make some updates. So that's right there as a liability for yourself, because you've been living there, you haven't done any investments to it. You've been paying this mortgage, but now you're not going to be able to get anything out of it. And now if you do want something out of it, you will either have to sell low, or you'll have to come out of pocket right here and there and make all these major investments or all these major updates in order to look at it as an investment and get some money in that return. So a house or a mortgage, can go either way, in my opinion. When thinking of assets and liabilities, you want to try and have as many assets as possible, just simply because it brings on that passive income. And you want to use passive income in order to pay for your liabilities. So that way you're making money, but your liabilities are covered. So if you want to go and buy, you know, yourself a Mercedes truck, you can go ahead and do that if you're bringing in enough cash flow with the amount of assets that you have. If you want to go and buy, you know, a tennis necklace, a diamond tennis necklace, you can go ahead and do that, because, you know, your passive income suffices for that, or your assets suffice for that. So as long as your assets are working for you and these investments are working to your favor, enjoy yourself and, like, you know, enjoy your liabilities. It's weird to say, but, you know, enjoy your liabilities, but as long as you can comfortably afford them. So friends, thank you so much for joining. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Definitely subscribe if you've learned anything, or if, you know, you just want to have a conversation, you want to let me know anything, go ahead and leave that in the comments below, and I will definitely get back to you. But no, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.